Today, as part of our Business Spotlight program, I'm with Conor Fay. He's the founder of Forest Living based in Kildare. So over to you, Conor. What is it you do and for how long have you been doing it?
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having me on. So I started Forest Living to make sustainable homewares from waste sawdust and agricultural waste. So we use mushroom mycelium, which is the root structure of the mushrooms, and we use this as a binding agent to hold these materials together.
Wow.
So this creates a solid product, and we can then turn this into tea light holders, coasters, lamps, and then we're going to have other products coming in the future. So I only set up the business there in January of this year. So
Okay.
we're still at a very early stage.
Wow.
I'm currently on Enterprise Ireland's New Frontiers program in TU Dublin, on the Tala campus. And they're helping me to refine the business and scale it up, and then along with getting it investor ready. We'll also be at the Enterprise Ireland Innovation Arena tent at the Ploughing Championships this year. So we're kind of gearing up for that now as well. So we're hoping to meet our end users there, along with potential suppliers for our raw materials. So like with the agricultural waste and all, we're hoping to meet some farmers trying to get some more of that waste material for our products.
Uh,
So yeah, all of our materials, they are like waste, and we're just repurposing it and trying to increase their economic value. But as I say, like we are still very early stage, and we're just trying to grow the business as well as develop the material further. And we're actually in partnership with Trinity College to help us developing this material. So we're using their labs. There we have a postdoctoral researcher also helping us there to bring it to the next level.
Fantastic, fantastic. What were just like what moved you in this direction when to start this kind type of a startup?
It goes back to when I was working in my family business. So we have it's the carpentry store, but we also have a solid wood manufacturing facility. And I was working there for I think it was 3 years, and we were producing a lot of sawdust waste. So what we do with this is we'd burn it in the factory to actually heat the premises, which was grand. It was very environmentally friendly and all. Like, you're not it's like carbon neutral. But then the problem with that was that during the summer, we'd still be producing all this sawdust,
Oh, right.
and we'd have no way, like we'd have no choice but to burn it anyway, and you're just literally creating heat, and there's no reason for it. So we had this buildup of sawdust with no real use for it. So I was trying to find an alternative use for it, and that's how I came across trying to use the mushroom mycelium to hold it together. So that's kind of where the idea came from, anyway.
And sorry, it's mushroom just for our viewers. What do you call it? Mushroom?
Yeah, it's mushroom mycelium. So it is like it's a mushroom, but it's the root structure of it. So we grow it in such a way that it's the roots of the mushroom grow around the sawdust, but
Uh,
we kill it off before it actually gets to the fruiting stage. So we like won't actually see a physical mushroom. It's literally only the roots. And then we kill it off and it's entirely inert then. And there's absolutely like it's just like any other sort of material when we're
fantastic,
finished processing it.
fantastic. Brilliant. And and well, you're in a growth stage. How do you see the growth coming forward? I mean, what kind of timeline have you set yourself? Or you're working with Enterprise Ireland. I presume they'll be looking for
Hmm.
some sort of business plan off here. How this all going to happen?
Yeah, so like at the moment, yeah, we are at the early stage. So a lot of our growth at this stage comes down to like the support we are getting from both the local enterprise office in Kildare. A lot of their grants and supports are amazing for us,
Hmm.
as well as from Enterprise Ireland through the New Frontiers program.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, these have helped me. Like they've helped me like focus on building the business and then focusing on the core of developing the material, and also um focusing on trying to get the end users and all that sort of stuff rather than having to figure out every other aspect of the business, like the finances and all that. Like I'm getting support for and the marketing, getting support for those sort of things. So that's kind of helping me have a more guided sort of trajectory, yeah, towards the growth rather than kind of being all over the place, not sure what to do next, what timeline I should be on.
So
Um,
the Leo and the AI Enterprise Ireland are giving you a structure and giving and allowing you to focus on, I suppose, developing the product and
exactly, yeah, it's kind of nearly just guide rails up, like, and kind of pointing me in the right direction so I don't go off on a completely wrong tangent. Like, they're kind of always trying to keep you focused on like your market, what you're doing, and then like the finances, the financials and all, that's all important. They're trying to keep everything relevant, like, and not letting you kind of just go down a rabbit hole of a completely wrong direction, which I feel like would have happened if I didn't have that support.
fantastic. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Um, Well, I suppose the next question we've had on our list of questions is, if you had to start from square one in business, what would you do differently? You're kind of at square one, aren't you? And would you do anything differently at this stage?
At this stage, yeah, because like initially, I was just trying to develop the material, and that's all I really cared about. But if I was to start again, what I definitely do is look at the market validation before I even started building. That was a massive one. It's something that they're really driving home there now, even at the phase two, going back, market validation. Even if you have a product, like there's others that have the products, they're like, go back, validate the market. And I'm seeing the importance of that. Because like, yeah, as I was saying, like when I first started, all I wanted was to build and develop the material and I had no real focus like on what I was actually making or who I was making it for. And then yeah, it was only when I got onto phase two that I started realizing the importance of actually having the market for it. Um, because that's where I spent a lot of the early days was kind of just
Interesting you say
developing.
that because I was interviewing another in the kind of the IT area, and they did that. They developed a product, an IT product, spent 3 years. They had venture capital, everybody else on backing them up, and to find out that the market didn't actually go for it. And so they had to go back to like that square one. And it's, when you said market validation, that's what he was saying, MVP. And I was saying, what's that? What's that? He said market validation product. But on the good news, yeah, I think he's 9 years in now. I think 1 year they had made I think 2019 they made about 1 million,
Right.
and last year their turnover was 210 million. The big thing here is dream big, definitely.
Oh yeah. Big numbers there. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but I mean, yeah, that was interesting. He said, yeah, if he should have done the market validation first.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it saves so much time if you just start there and work from that. Like,
Yeah, work your way back to the product. Yeah, which is, when you're told it's obvious, but it's until you're told,
well, that's it.
Yeah. And I suppose you're putting in a lot of time. I mean, you're not employing anyone yet, but what's your views on how what you're looking for as an employer, or you're looking for people to work with you?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm kind of yeah, because I'm early stage, I don't really have the finances for full stage employment. But I'm taking on a lot of contractors. So like and they've all been superb so far, like many of them going like they'd be going the extra mile for any project that I've given them. And we're both benefiting from the progress, both in terms of developing the business, but also they're expanding their own skill sets as well in doing stuff like this is kind of a novel enough material. They wouldn't really be familiar with it, so it's kind of training them up and trying to get them used to it. But then they're also helping me by actually bringing it to the next level. Yeah, so but in terms of learning from that, it'd be kind of only working with people that values like kind of reflect my own.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I am starting a climate and sustainability focused company. I'm trying to only work with companies that only have similar values and don't go directly against it, you know. I know we can't all be 100% for the environment 100% of the time, but like for companies that are directly harming the environment, I'm trying to steer clear of them and just kind of focus on only bringing um good like companies that are also kind of environmentally and sustainably focused into
Fantastic.
partnership. Like, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, because it's one of the big ones. I don't know if you wouldn't have heard of it, but there was a guy named Drucker. He was one of the management gurus back in the 60s and 70s, Peter
Oh,
Drucker. I don't know if you've come across him, but his thing was that one of his phrases, loads of them, but one of the phrases resonated with me was culture eats strategy for breakfast. If you get the culture right, the strategies are easy to implement. And the opposite is also true. If the culture isn't right in your business, and you're not getting people who buy into that culture or core values, in your case, I suppose, as part of the culture, it makes life very difficult. So
yeah.
I suppose going forward, yeah, absolutely. And have you written out your core values, or
Yeah, well, in terms of the culture, like that's kind of I've given a lot of thought into what sort of culture I want to build in the business.
good?
So like at the moment, it's kind of I want there to be a kind of an appetite for failure. I
Okay.
want like so people are willing to try new things and like without having the risk of failure, that like failure is nearly like an expected part of it.
Hmm.
I feel like that's a massive part of what will make the company grow. And it's also kind of helping to develop the innovation and new ways of doing things within the business. So
Fantastic.
like, yeah, that's kind of the culture that will be trying to foster and develop. Like, yeah,
Yeah, what I'd recommend is that you actually write it all out. Okay, so
Yeah.
and it helps. One, it helps to kind of crystallize your thoughts, but also when you're looking to attract people in, you can say, "Well, this is what I'm about. We're looking for a good fit." You know, the
Mm.
phrase is "We hire for attitude and train for skills." So if you have the right, if you have your culture, your vision, your mission, you've got clearly got a vision in that, but just actually write it out, and just have it there as a document, basically, and you'll fine tune it. There's a one thing I'd recommend you have a look at is the vision. Have you heard of Zappos? Tony Shai was a guy. He was a guru in the States, and he set up a business called Linked Exchange. Dropped out of college with two of his buddies, and they set up this thing in the late 90s. The business grew up to a size where he sold it for $240 million, and he regards it as a failure because he didn't have a culture, he didn't have things, it just grew organically. They had this stuff that was required coming up to the as the technology was developing, and he couldn't bear going in there, because there were people there he didn't know, he didn't rely on, and but they were making loads of money hand over fist, and they sold it off. But he then started a thing called Zappos, Zappos. It's the Mexican for shoes. But what he did at the time was innovative in that he was selling shoes online. That was back in 2000. And he spent about 18 months coming up with his vision, which in the end was called Delivering Happiness. And that was the vision, and then he had a mission for that. But it took about a lot of brainstorming back and forth. And what they did is you could order your shoes online. He would pay for the carriage for you to get them. If you didn't like them, within 2 weeks he'd pay for the carriage to send them back. Uh,
Right.
one of the first things he did was hold a party for his suppliers in Las Vegas, which was where they're based. Um, and this was unheard of in the industry back then. Normally they were fighting with each other on terms and conditions of payment and all this. But he said, well, if I've got them on side, they're going to be looking for ways to help me, etc. Anyway, he built up the business. Of course, there was lots of ups and downs and all that. But in 2010, he sold it to Amazon for $1 billion, and he kept the business. So they
Mm.
like Amazon normally just hoover everything up. They're like a massive whale. They said
Mm.
just couldn't do what you're doing, and so they kept the name. We'll take our dividends, but you keep running it and doing that. So it's just on that whole culture and the value of culture and of having it. As I do a lot of work with clients on
Mm.
that. And just to get, because some people, I know myself until I actually started studying it. It's all a bit soft, all of it. Just give me the strategies, and I'll work away on those. And actually, no, a lot of my coaching now is based around getting the culture right first, and then moving
Mm.
on. So
Yeah.
what you're doing there, you're absolutely on the right track. What I would throw in as a suggestion is actually document it out, and keep fine tuning it and honing it as you learn more and as you get more people come in. But your core values will be critical to get the right people on board. And I think you're already doing it. If your contractors are already on board with that, I think you're probably already doing it. It's just as you scale, you talk about scaling up.
That's it.
You have to
Yeah.
get this across to people on your websites and on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's square one. An employer that doesn't really apply, but um, how do you balance your personal life with running a business or starting up a business in this case?
Um, yeah, it's a tough one, all right. I'll give you that. Yeah, it is. It's something I am trying to address though, because I find that like there's a lot of hours need to go towards the business, like.
Mm,
But I try to I make a point of stepping away from it and putting it out of my mind for a few hours, like
mm,
on a Saturday or Sunday, and then I feel like this actually is beneficial as well then, because it makes you more refreshed and ready to go then with fresh ideas and perspectives then on Monday morning.
mhm.
Um, I also find that doing something where you can't actually physically have your laptop with you is a good way of doing it. So like I like to go for a hike or a swim or something just to completely get out of it, clear your head.
Yeah,
I find that's ideal. Like,
fantastic. Once they don't make a waterproof laptop or something like that, yeah.
oh yeah, oh yeah, wouldn't need that.
No, 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 you're absolutely right. On a serious note, you need to recharge. You need to, taking time out. Like our definition of a business is a commercial profitable enterprise that works without you. So
Oh,
it's all about getting the systems, about getting that stuff, but being able to reach out. At this stage, the kind of analogy we use is a plane. When a plane is taking off, the engines are roaring, they're trying to get brake gravity and the rest of it. But at some point, you want to get up to 30,000 feet. It's not, hopefully be cruising at that stage. So have it in as a goal, I would suggest to you.
oh,
Um, So we talked about your contractors. How did you source them, or what qualities? How did you go about sourcing them for your business?
Um, yeah, well, like there's a lot of people in my network like that I kind of would have known. I knew they would be a kind of good fit for what I was doing. So I was kind of reaching out to them and they were like eager to get involved in something new, like of what I was doing. So like it wasn't difficult in that sort of a way. I know when hiring an employee now, it's going to have to be sort of I have to reach outside my network to try to find people. So that's yeah, again, that's why I want to try to have the culture and have, as you were saying, writing it down and just have all that so I know, like in the future, what sort of people I want to bring in.
Yeah.
But in terms of the contractors, it was a bit of an easier step because, and then also when bringing in companies, they kind of always have it on their website, the kind of values and everything that they stand for, what they do. So it's a lot easier to bring them in. So the next step will be employees like that I have to try to bring on board.
Yeah, well, what I'd be saying to you, yeah, is the interview should be two-stage. One is you're interviewing for attitude, and the way we work it is almost a deselection process where we present the company. This is what we're about. This is our culture. These are our core values. These are all the things, and we're looking for a good fit. So there's like maybe 10, 20 minutes presenting your company, and then you talk to the employee. And purely all at that stage, all you're looking for is there a fit or not? Will they be a fit? Will they move the company forward from a cultural point of view? And then you look at the skills, and see that the skills match up then as well for what you're looking for. But that
Yeah.
just a suggestion I'd have, yeah. And I suppose just to round off, Conor, what are some common misconceptions about, well, in your case, starting up a business, and how would you deal with them?
Yeah, I have. I've heard a lot of misconceptions and all, like even from a short time, like of actually starting it. But like one of the main ones is that like you get so much time off if you're working for yourself. But then on the other end, you hear that you have to work 16-hour days to actually get it to take off. So I don't know. I think it's kind of in between. Now it does sort of lean heavier towards working more hours than normal. But
Right.
then at the same time, your hours are more flexible because you're the one who has to kind of deal with it. So I don't know, yeah, like with the misconceptions and all, it's sort of there's a bit of truth in either both of them. But yeah, there was kind of no real extreme is what I found anyway.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Listen, Conor, it's been great chatting to you today. There's some great stuff in there for our viewers, and we wish you every luck going forward. But I think I like the phrase "you make your own luck," or luck, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So I think you probably have that in spades. So again, great chatting to you, and thanks again for your time.
Perfect. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having me.